Hey, I'm Carl. This is the Dstry.MNL podcast. We're here with the editor-in-chief of the Fight Nation, Rough Magazine, and ASIA MMA, MATT EATON.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, sir. Thank you. Right now, we're in the middle of Typhoon Mangkhut.
A crazy storm.
Yes. Awesome, look, crazy storm. It's wreaking havoc all over Hong Kong. We just finished the ASIA MMA Awards 2 nights ago. Just quickly, what are your feelings right now? Reactions, your thoughts, just give us
well, super happy. I mean, this is the first time that we've held the awards. It's an epic project to put together. We decided to do it in Hong Kong for a number of different reasons. Obviously, it's our home base. We feel that the industry here is getting to a point where it's enough to celebrate. It's enough. There's fantastic things going on in this industry. I mean, we had 170 people here on Friday night. 17
categories.
17 categories. 17 awesome winners. Reactions. I mean, it's been an epic process. Unfortunately, not all of the industry was there to support it. But the people who were there, I mean, amazing positivity in the room.
And they were enthusiastic about it.
Enthusiastic. I mean, we had a great night. It was good food, good booze, a lot of people, a lot of representation. All the major MMA promotions were there. So, I mean, pretty happy and all. I mean, obviously learning curves to do. We'll take stock of everything that's happened now and go back and review it. And I mean, there's always going to be fallout.
First ones are always a bit.
It's always tough. I mean, but you expect that, right? I mean, people are a little bit hesitant. We're still, relatively small. We've only been around for 3 years, right? So to get from that to this point of doing an awards show, I think there was a lot of people who were hesitant and probably discounted what we were doing. But since the results have come out, since there's been a lot of talk online about how our judging system was done, there's people who's gonna have an opinion about it regardless of what we did, right? So you can't please everybody all the time. We do what we do. We did it well. We're extremely happy. We're going to do it again. It's going to come back. It'll be bigger and better. So who knows? So
the important thing is we got the first one down. I mean, we all remember how it was 7-8 years ago, even a decade ago when MMA was like drawing in like 50-30 people. Yeah. Now it's being talked about like crazy.
It's been talked about, and I mean, it's for good reason. It's an exciting sport and an exciting time for
now
the
everybody
sport.
Can see what we're excited about.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, once the curtain opens up, people get a taste of what's going on and start seeing the one thing that I love about this sport is how close you can get to it as a fan. Like, you can interact with these people directly on social media. I mean, it's not like basketball or soccer or anything where these guys are a world away. This is a sport that is built for fans, so we're just happy to be able to celebrate it in the way that we did on Friday night. And to have all those guests here, people who flew in from Korea, from Australia, from the Philippines. Dstry.MNL podcast has been with us since the beginning, so to have everyone.
MMA fans in the Philippines are crazy.
Oh yeah, crazy in an amazing way, right? I just guess it shows how passionate people are for this sport. So
I think that's it. The key word is passionate because they feel so much about it. They're loyal to their teams and to their coaches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now they get to see that they're not the only ones. They're not an isolated kind of phenomenon.
That's right.
They're equally passionate teams and fighters and industry sport.
Yeah, and this is not a sport built by a single organization. It's a diverse sport. There's a lot of talent around in this region. I mean, how awesome as the amateur fighters, that category, the rookies, that's, for me, some of the most exciting parts of the sport is to see where this talent is emerging.
So, in the MMA Awards 2 days ago, Filipinos won big.
Yeah.
Team Lakay won Gym of the Year, arguably against better funded and better supported gyms.
Yeah.
And then they also won Best Walkout.
What a recognition, right?
I know. It's like, who'd have thought?
Against the likes of Evolve, Team Lakay, Phuket top team, China top team, the Xi'an Sports Club up in China. They're breeding killers up there. I mean, it's a huge. I mean, we're so happy that this went to Team Lakay and especially to Coach Mark Sanjiao. I mean, they're keeping it real up there. It's like
it doesn't get as real as that.
Back to
right?
the basics, and it just shows what hard work. Maybe all these other things. Having fancy equipment, fancy gyms.
That's not what it's all about.
It's not what it's about. It's a mentality. I mean, it's amazing, right? So
it does help that they're at high elevation. Oh, our thoughts go out to Baguio right now because it's been flooded.
Yeah.
But hope they can recover.
Don't know if they can hear what's going on out here.
Yeah, they should be hearing what's going on out here. It's crazy.
So,
we've been mopping the floor like crazy as well. But going back to that, Red De La Cruz also won. But mostly, the focus is really on how Team Lakay has developed their fighters, their coaching program, their athletic development program. Because like we talked about a couple days ago, you were surprised to learn that most of the fighters were criminology graduates.
Oh yeah, I had no idea. That's amazing. And
they would have been police officers had there not been MMA to support their passion and to make a living out of.
Yeah. And so it's almost like MMA wasn't really their first choice. I mean, they've gone off and had these professional kind of careers and gone to school and done this sort of thing. But, I mean, the thing that really impresses is that Team Lakay is going through this cycle now where they're just blitzing everyone. And how many, 2 champions there now? And 3 with Stephen Lohman up in Brave Combat Federation. Yeah. And we just heard today that he's going to be defending his title again up in Bahrain.
Should be exciting, right?
I mean, Team Lakay might be one of the busiest teams around at the moment.
And they're still so underrated. Now that they have the Gym of the Year, they're no longer underrated.
Yeah, it's really exciting time. Yeah.
We were talking with Coach Mark that night, and he said he was almost in tears because I'm pretty sure government funding and a lot of other things might have been done better in supporting them.
Right.
The people there actually really have a big fan base, but for most of it, it's just been grassroots MMA.
Right. And to achieve what they've
achieved that,
doing with just that.
Yeah. It's like going to the moon from your backyard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really. It's like they've suddenly made an alternative kind of rocket science that breeds these killers. One of the best things I think about the awards is how it brought people together who initially thought they were isolated, just playing off that. Because that night, Tiger Muay Thai guys won Head Coach of the Year.
Yeah, Destination.
And Best Destination Gym, which is like very apt because George Hickman is there.
Yeah.
Amazing guy, and then if you just see their facilities, it's like a resort.
It's like a resort.
It is a resort, I guess.
And a huge resort. I mean, at peak season, I think they can have anywhere up to 500 people coming through that gym a day.
It's crazy. You can't even fit like half of that in any of the Lakay gyms.
Well, VWAT was saying the other day they're looking to expand it, moving down towards the beach as well. I mean, they do CrossFit and MMA, wrestling. You've got the Hickman Brothers Wrestling Academy working out of there, and
those are legit dudes.
Legit dudes, and they're training like Emilio Iratia. They got Loma Looked on Me, who's doing awesome things.
Yes.
He's just come out of Pancrase and destroyed Hannah Date. I mean,
we'll go back to Japan in a bit because it seems that people are not looking at Japan just because it's less famous in the West. But it's so huge in part of the region. Yeah. But just to riff off that, just to because VWAT, who owns Tiger Muay Thai, and Coach Mark and George Hickman were talking that night and talking about collaborating.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of positive outcomes and community building that we're talking about. That otherwise absolutely. It would not have happened.
Yeah, well, that was the idea from day one. I mean, it's great to have the awards and everyone there connecting and networking. But as the years progress ahead, we can turn this into a 2-3 day festival, right? Celebrate the awards, run industry conferences, do a BJJ tournament, maybe even have a fight at the end of it. I mean, who knows? It's open and it's all up in the air. So
sort of like a black tie brawl kind of thing with barbecue.
Do a
so.
barbecue beatdown in Phuket.
Yeah.
The back end of the ASIA MMA Awards. Who knows? I mean, just
sky's the limit from here. Very quickly, can we talk about the process of this, how the nominations came about, and the end result?
Yeah.
Because people don't usually see how the sausage is made.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, it's not like we're trying to hide this stuff.
Exactly.
We had a panel of 12 people who put their recommendations forward, which is how the shortlist got built. The public voting,
which is Dstry.MNL was part of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Course, curation.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the first part, and then the second part is.
Well, we had representation for that initial period from Hong Kong, from Manila, from Malaysia, from Thailand, Japan. We had a couple of journalists from the US who sent through their nominations. Some guys in Australia. So I think we were quite well represented across the industry.
So it's just fair. Like,
it was fair.
It's fair and out there.
Then there was
those final nominees.
Those final nominees. So there was a rigorous system that we had, which is the strength of their competition, the size of their platform, whether it was a title fight or a non-title fight, whether it was a knockout, a KO, submission, decision, victory, all that sort of stuff. So all of these points were tallied up at the end. The public voting seems to have thrown a few people. I mean, it was not the final decision. The final decision went back to this panel, right? So, 70% was the panel, 30% was the judging. On the online open voting. I don't know, it's caused a bit of controversy. Maybe next year we balance that out a bit. But I wholeheartedly believe in the public voting side of it.
But it's not, just to emphasize and clarify, it's not a popularity contest purely.
No, it's not.
Exactly.
And with online voting, it's easy to skew sometimes these days.
Yes.
There were people who were paying for Facebook posts.
Yes. Exactly.
So promoting it in particular ways. There's always tricks and things around this. So
you can't try to hack this system because you've built a fail-safe around it.
Yeah. Well, the site was IP protected, so you vote once and
that's it. You can't vote again.
That was it. So you couldn't vote again. So we were doing everything on our end to make sure that they were credible as possible. Who knows? Maybe next year we get an auditing firm to come in and oversee the judging process. I mean,
just so it's even. There's an added layer of security.
Well, we did reach out to a couple of the big four accounting firms to. I mean, but we're a small MMA publisher in Hong Kong, and I don't think they maybe give it that much of a look in the first year. So I don't know, but we had
moving forward, it'll be bigger now.
Our first year we had 80,000 votes.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge, and I think it just goes to show that the market is crying out for something like this. We can live and learn and move ahead, but it's done now. I mean, we're happy where it's got us to. So, we'll see what happens next. Yeah.
Exactly. Moving forward, can we talk about first? Because you have 3 sites.
Yeah.
And Rough Magazine has a print component, right? What are the differences between Fight Nation, Rough Magazine, and Asian MMA?
Yeah.
Asian MMA.
Yeah. Well, so AsiaMMA.com
Asia,
is our last acquisition. So I mean, we started with Rough Magazine in 2014, and it was really just a passion of mine and a couple of buddies who going to Macau to watch UFC, rolling here, but not a whole lot of stuff to read about the sport and the industry. So my background is I've been a business journalist for the past 15 years. So, I had a bit of publishing experience, and so what we wanted to do was to put a publishing model on all of these fantastic websites that were out there. So, we built up Rough, and it was quite successsul. So we got an opportunity.
Is basically features, right?
Rough is the culture of fighting.
The culture of fighting. There we go.
It's the story behind the fight, right? Like why people fight.
Yes.
How they train, what they eat, the whole process. So it's
weight
like
cuts,
weight cutting. It's the world of combat sports, and so for a platform like Rough, it doesn't cover news. it's all features driven. We love amazing photography, and we have some of the best photographers working with us at the moment. So
yeah, I'm so glad David Dash won.
Me too.
Amazing guy.
Amazing guy, amazing photographer. What a kill.
At awards night.
You should put some photos on the top of that.
We should.
Yeah. But the Fight Nation was really the first website where we broke out of the rough and decided to turn
to the template for news.
A template for news, and the Fight Nation is such a fantastic platform, and we cover all areas of combat sports from Lethwei to Kun Khmer, and Muay Thai is huge for us at the moment. So MMA is just a small part of coverage that we do for the Fight Nation, and we want to expand that as well. We want to delve deeper into local communities and start doing more on the amateur side of things and digging up this next generation of talent. So we had an opportunity to take over the site from Wes D'Souza, who's now at Evolve, and the idea is just to build Tap Media as a multi-platform combat sports site. So
if you're a fan of MMA and other combat sports, this is where you go to.
Yeah, and then last year we did pretty much the same thing with AsiaMMA.com. Lily, who's actually back working for us now, she was off working at Rode. So again, it's a fantastic website. It has great archives. It's got content that goes all the way back to the beginning of this sport when
you can actually see the
when Legend started. I mean,
there's
interviews with Li Jinglang
before he came to the UFC.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's come full circle. Legend was back in Guangzhou for the first time last night. How exciting is that, right? There's another amazing promotion coming back. So, so with Asia MMA, we just in the process of radically rebuilding this website now, and it's big on live event coverage. So we want to do this real-time coverage. Asia MMA has really strong roots in Japan, roots in Korea, but we really want to focus Asia MMA on purely on MMA, and there's so much potential to build up. We want to look at documentaries. We want to start doing more in-depth features and profiles on people. Who knows? Maybe we make a film about the rise of Asia MMA sometime.
Yeah.
I mean, the great part of having an independent...
And put it on Netflix.
Put it on Netflix. I mean, why not? Like, we're an independent media operator, and the beauty of that is that we can write and report about anyone and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people ask us, why don't we have one platform, right? I think the industry is so big. There's so many elements of the sport to consider.
It's hard for the casual fan, to get into it if they don't know ahead of time what they're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we try, and the way that we write stories, we try and write it for a casual fan. Obviously, we have to cater to an audience who comes back to us every day for the breaking news and for the results especially. I mean, results is a really difficult part of the industry to cover now, because a lot of this stuff is driven by social media. So it's having intelligent writers who understand the sport, who have the connections, who have the insights, know how to write intelligently, know how to...
And who care.
Yeah. No bullshit when they see it. And I mean, there's plenty of bullshit around, but...
Too much sometimes.
But we don't buy into that stuff, So we're just excited about moving ahead with loads of positivity, and there's loads of it around. So, who knows? There could be other things we do in the future. I think there's room to develop new brands. Lethwei is a huge sport that's taking off in Asia now. A lot of people.
It was just an event in Japan, right?
Yeah, I mean, Lethwei in Japan is huge now, and it's becoming a regular thing. And Lethwei in its spiritual homeland of Myanmar is exploded in the last couple of years, and you've got WLC doing huge things. Dave Leduc is now a legit star.
It's a superstar.
He's a crossover star.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna be on a dollar bill or something.
He's gonna be on a dollar bill in Myanmar.
I mean,
wow.
It's quite amazing what he's been able to do for the sport. I think locally and internationally. So there's this thing is opening up like never before. So we're just excited to be part of it all, and really proud and like quite honoured to be able to talk to these athletes, and so we just want to do it justice and do it credibly and do it right. So yeah,
especially with the Japan market, because sometimes it's hard to get. If you're elsewhere in the world, it's hard to get the content of MMA from Japan.
That's right.
It's just trying to get onto the Japanese site, trying to find out how to stream it, stuff like that. It's hard. Yeah. So as middlemen, Fight Nation and the other sites can do that. But speaking of which, Ryzen, Pancrase, Shuto, all that stuff.
Crush, K1.
Some of them, I mean, sometimes if it's not on Fight Pass, it's hard to get.
That's right. So that's right. Well, we're lucky. We have Ruto over there.
Yeah,
he goes
awesome photographer.
Awesome photographer. He goes to every show, and so this is a big part of I think why the Fight Nation has been successful is because we have people on the ground everywhere, and
that's important.
It's super important, and we've managed to build up a freelance network of around 30 riders now, and then on top of that, maybe a half a dozen photographers, right? So having people at an event, the ability to photograph an event and report live. I mean, you have to do it.
Call it like it is.
You can't sit and report on this industry from afar. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people have opinions about that, but we feel that we're trying to bring a level of journalistic integrity to this sport and immersion, and you have to be embedded in this industry to do
that's
it.
So you have to be embedded. You have to go gonzo. You can't be that guy should have done this, should have done that, when you're just watching it on YouTube.
Well, that's just opinionated stuff for bloggers. I mean,
any keyboard warrior can do that.
Any keyboard warrior can do that. I mean, we try and apply some basic journalism principles to what we do. It's tough because it's a cowboy industry still.
Yeah. It's a frontier.
It's a young industry.
That's our tap.
It's an amazing sport, and to be at the beginning of it like this, it's a little bit wild. It's incredibly exciting.
They'll be glad they're on for the ride, though.
Yeah, more than glad that we're along for the ride. I mean, I've worked in the field of advertising, marketing, and I used to write about mergers and acquisitions.
For exciting stuff, man.
So
how did you fall in love with it?
I thought the business world were full of cowboys.
Oh, apparently not. Do you remember a first fight or the first thing about MMA that made you go, hey, that's amazing? Because I remember, I think it was the way back in the early UFCs. Which fight was that? Oh, Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner beating the hell out of each other. Like amazing most fight. Other, But for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always been following the sport, but it's since I've moved to this part of the world that it's become like
it's an even bigger thing apparently.
Like this. Well, so I've been in Hong Kong for 10 years now, and I was doing jiu-jitsu down in Wan Chai at Hayabusa back in the day, and then we started doing training at Everlast in Causeway Bay, and I mean... Did
you do the jits before or after you got into...
Before. I did judo for a long time.
You did judo for a long time?
I think I have a yellow belt somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
There you go.
So
always need to be legit, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's I mean, but just going to watch shows, it's only been in the last 6 to 7 years that I've been doing that. So before I was writing about this, I think the first show I ever went to was a One Championship show in Manila. Okay. A long time ago.
Was that the one where Honorio Benario won?
Jeez, I don't know. I'd have to think back. It might have been. Maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Yeah. And then obviously UFC started coming to Macau, and it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from here. And then we started going up to Guangzhou to watch Rebel, and when I moved to Hong Kong, it was the tail end of Legend FC. So I saw one up in the last one. It may have been their last one up in Malaysia. I was up there for doing some work stuff, and then came back here, and that crumbled. And but a couple of UFC shows. taking the train up to Guangzhou to watch 1FC back in the bad old days, that was quite fun. But yeah, I mean, you get the rawness of the sport, and once you see that, it's super addictive. Like
Same thing, man. I was a total nerd for fighting, for watching fights, and especially MMA. Oh, it's an interesting story because Bellator now has Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, and I'm like, I went, what year is it?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting. So I think the first show we reported on was UFC Macau, when Rich Franklin fought Kung Lee.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Like, fast forward, Rich Franklin's now working for one championship. Kung Lee was a big part of the story of MMA in China.
Yes, definitely.
He hosted the first Ultimate Fighter. So
yeah.
I mean, it's
with immense language barriers.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. So
I remember that, and then I thought to myself, after a year or two of coverage, I should try some of this grappling out.
Yeah,
because they say it's safe. Like, fast forward a couple of years later, I'm doing catch wrestling.
Yeah.
Doing Muay Thai. It's an interesting dynamic where you can fall in love with the sport and then actually get into it.
Yeah.
And then learn for yourself the benefits of martial arts.
Yeah. Well, you just kind of made me think another circle. When we were traveling when we were training with Everlast in Causeway Bay, Diego Nunes was the head coach there. And he used to kick the shit out of us all the time and just work us to the bone, like almost to the point of, you feel sick and you get exhausted. But he was
a good thing when you throw up.
Awesome coach, would just work us so hard. I remember holding the pads for him a couple of times when his training partner wasn't there. Bruises all up and down my arm. And now he's fighting in Ryzen. Like, his fight with Arch, who did he fight at Ryzen recently? The guy who
very famous,
who fought Gomi. I'm tired. That was up for nomination for Fight of the Year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a very small world. Yeah.
Oh, moving forward, now that you've had a few days, although the storm is of course foremost in our minds, none of you had a few days to rest and get away from it and put it like in perspective.
Yeah.
What are your plans? How do you move forward from here? Can you see the second event from here?
Yeah,
or
absolutely. Absolutely. The next few months for us, we've got a few websites that are in need of some attention. I mean, the MMA Awards was like 4 months of solid planning.
4 months, wow.
Like, I haven't slept properly for the last 2 weeks. And I mean, you get a sense of what it's like to do live event production stuff. So
it's a whole different animal, and so many moving parts for something that big.
Yeah, I mean,
so many continents.
Hats off to all of these MMA promoters who do this every 2 weeks. It's a really.
Can you imagine the headache of the fighters only awards in the West?
Yeah, it's amazing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I want to do another one. We'll go back and we'll review it and everything. There's a whole bunch of shows coming up. UFC's going up into Beijing soon. There's a few new promotions launching in Macau. I think Legend's going to come back and do a second event before the end of the year. There's UFC in Adelaide. There's a bunch of 1FC shows coming up. There's Full Metal Dojo in November.
Indeed.
So, they're back after a year. Looks like Will Chope's going back. Not Will Chope. Tommy Hayden. Glenn Sparv is going to be fighting for the middleweight title. Javier Trujillo's, it's like that's a killer show already, and they haven't. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll be busy. I think I just want to get back on the road for a while and kind of get back in
the groove.
Get back in the groove at all, because doing the awards, you go into a bubble. So I don't know. There's a lot of news around, so I just want to bury myself into that for a little while and. There's improvements that we could do with the Fight Nation. We want to keep expanding our coverage, and Asia MMA just got a complete makeover. The site has a new template. We have a new logo. Better. Well, it used to be called MMA-Asia.com. So we've fixed all that. turned it into AsiaMMA.com. It's much more SEO friendly wise, so that website has huge potential. So yeah, we'll spend a few months just keeping a close eye on these websites. Ruff is doing some really cool things at the moment. I think it's time to produce another print edition of that magazine.
Yes, definitely.
This storm is getting wild.
Storm is getting wilder outside.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, and the water's rising.
Yeah.
Rising.
So yeah. I know for us, back on the road, just get back doing what we love doing. And
it's been a pretty intense couple of days.
Very intense, but very enjoyable, very eye-opening.
So let's have them watch out for the improvements.
Yeah.
And next year's ASIA MMA Awards.
Yeah.
So congrats to all the winners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone who voted,
yeah,
who took the time, who spent the time to go and support, that has not gone unnoticed. I mean, the fighters who won,
Martin Nguyen for Male Fighter of the Year.
Ham Seo-hee. She's going to be back fighting again this year. I mean,
she's such a understated kind of person as well.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll see Martin back in the cage again this year.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Champ.
I mean, what a guy! What an amazing guy! Lovely family guy. Took the time to come over to the awards. He was up for 3 nominations. He took away the Male Fighter of the Year category. He got
arguably the biggest prize.
The biggest prize of the night. Absolutely. Didn't get the nod for Knockout of the Year.
Yeah.
Went to Alarm the Panther. I mean, that was
still
a historic.
Kick-ass, yeah.
That knockout just went crazy viral. So.
And he was almost jumping out of his suit.
He was jumping out of his suit. Literally. Very happy. So.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah. Thanks for your support as well.
Yes.
Always watch Dstry.MNL podcast. These guys are rocking hard. So. Thanks for coming to Hong Kong.
Thank you.
We'll get home right now. I hope you get home.
Bye.